Just before we talk about the AFL, have you got an update on figures? Are you still at zero again this morning?
Yes, I've just come in and very happy to say 0 cases overnight. So we're very happy with those results, and just goes to show Queenslanders are doing a great job, and our police and emergency services are doing a fantastic job at our borders, keeping the virus at bay.
You have effectively eliminated the virus in Queensland, Premier. There is the debate, as you would know at the moment, on elimination versus suppression. Do you believe that elimination is possible at a national level?
I think we were very close to that. You would have seen a few weeks ago, before the outbreak in Victoria, that Australia was on that trajectory, because the majority of the states and territories had actually eliminated the virus in terms of community spread. We were very concerned about New South Wales a while back, but they got that under control, and now they have that outbreak at the Crossroads. And of course, Victoria has that outbreak.
Do you believe complete elimination is possible?
Well, I don't think it is, because the virus is circulating in the world. Of course, we're an island nation, but whilst we still have returning Australians coming back from virus hotspots, there is always that chance that the virus can get back into the community, which is why the National Cabinet took that decision to reduce the number of international flights, and I commend the Prime Minister for doing that. But I think, everyone would love to have elimination, but suppression is the reality of what we are living with at the moment. But I'm looking forward to trying to keep Queensland as safe as possible, and we are doing everything we can in our powers to do so. And that's not to say there won't be a community outbreak.
Sure, and so everybody expects that does happen. Of course, you've got people trying to get across the border. Some frustrations at the border as well, Premier. Would you consider, or are you considering, a special pass for those people who are crossing the border to get to and from schools, etc.?
In relation to the Tweed, look, we put a proposal way back just before we closed the border about making the Tweed River the border to keep those border communities together. Unfortunately, the New South Wales position was not to do that, and that's entirely their right. But I did try, from a Queensland perspective, to try and keep those communities together and have the least amount of impact. OK. The saviour of the AFL, you are, Premier. First of all, it's a big job that you've got to do here. What are the rules around this? How's it going to work? Where are these games going to be played? How will players be housed? Have you figured everything out yet? Look, the AFL is working very closely with our Chief Health Officer, with my Major Events Minister Kate Jones and Sport Minister Mick de Brenni. It's a whole team dedicated to working on this and ensuring that the game can continue. We are more than happy to host all of the Victorian teams. I understand that the matches will be played at the Metricon, the Gabba. They're looking at Cairns. There is a potential for Townsville. The Townsville Mayor was on to me just the other night saying, can she have Collingwood up there? So, look, everyone's trying to help out as much as they possibly can. So we're very happy to help out, and of course I did put a bid in for the grand final. I said to Gil, if Queensland's doing the heavy lifting, surely we can be considered for a grand final. And I know that's an early pitch, but we'll continue to have discussions with the AFL about that.
Well, that's got to be the quid pro quo, doesn't it, Premier?
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? So
what did he say?
Negotiation skills
what did he say?
Look, I think their priority at the moment, look, he said he'd consider it. Look, but I think at the moment, their priority is to keep the game going. So we are happy to help out. And it's going to be great to grow the competition here in Queensland as well. We've got a lot of young people that are enthusiastic about it. And I've asked Queenslanders to adopt a second team, a Victorian team, to show their support and help them out. So
hang on, there's two Queensland teams.
Thing that we can do.
Shouldn't
no, they support their...
Go ahead.
They support their own Queensland team, whether it's the Lions or the Suns, and then they can adopt a second team. OK. Who's
your second team?
Haven't decided yet. Maybe the Tigers.
Now, you don't have... It's not just Gil McLachlan who's knocking on your door. Peter V'landys is as well. He's asking for special exemptions to be given to NRL players coming from Sydney hotspots. Will those exemptions be given?
Look, that's a tough one, and look, I'll probably be speaking with Peter later on today, and the Chief Health Officer is once again working with the NRL. Look, these are extraordinary times. We're working through all of those issues. We know that there's tough measures that we are taking from those hotspots and those quarantine states. But look, we will work through those issues to the best way we possibly can. At the same time, our number one thing is to maintain Queenslanders' health. So that's first and foremost.
If these outbreaks do continue, and I know it's been talked about that maybe even the NRL competition will have to move, the whole competition would have to move to Queensland the same way that the AFL is that a possibility, or have you ruled that out?
Well, look, it could be a possibility. We're happy to have those negotiations. And look, I just say to this, you know, Queensland hosted a world-class Commonwealth Games. I mean, we don't have a problem hosting these major sporting teams here in Queensland. And why would you not want to come to Queensland? Great people, great sport enthusiasts, great facilities.
Do you envisage...
And it's great for the economy.
Sure. And just on these Sydney hotspots, do you envisage extending bans as hotspots emerge in Sydney in the coming days?
Look, that could happen, and that is a real possibility, and I'm getting daily updates on that. We're following that incredibly closely, as you'd expect me to.
Also, today, the Prime Minister is going to be announcing a special or a significant $2 billion announcement for vocational training to help out with the tradies, etc., but it's reliant on state help as well. Is that something that you'll be supporting, Premier?
Oh, absolutely. We announced a $90 million package just yesterday focusing on skills. Young people have been hit the hardest right across the country with the impact of COVID. A lot of casual workers, a lot of people in cafes and restaurants and tourism, just to name a few. And of course, we're very happy. We realise that we've got to get these young people back into work. That's why we extended our Back to Work program. We extended our Skilling for Queenslanders for Work program. And the other thing we did is we actually put in place a new program called Reef Assist, where young people can get training along our Great Barrier Reef catchment zones from Mackay North, so Mackay, Townsville and Cairns. They can be doing work along those catchments that are helping to protect the Great Barrier Reef and getting training as part of that. So, look, I'm looking forward to the PM's announcement. We made our own announcement. We've got a skills plan here. It's really, really important, and it's something that I'm very pleased to support. And whatever funding the Prime Minister puts on the table for Queensland, I'm absolutely determined to match that from Queensland's perspective. So very, very happy to work together on this one.